Hey, what's going on? This is KLA Cloud the Wanderer on a Thursday afternoon, and I'm here with a lovely guest. Her name is Laura Morley. She's a women's physique competitor. You're a pro too, right? I forgot.
Yeah, pro in bodybuilding. I won with
Pro
Fitex
body.
this year. Yeah, so my
Yeah.
two first places were in bodybuilding, but for me, I need the size to be competitive bodybuilder.
Yeah, I know some of your interviews. You was in a couple of interviews. Like how was it like sharing your bodybuilding experience on these platforms for you?
It's I was really nervous when I got asked because I was like, well, why do people want to talk to me, find out about me? But I love it. I just love bodybuilding, so I could talk about bodybuilding forever till the cows come home. But about me personally, that bit I find hard. But then I suppose everyone's got a journey, haven't they, that they've been on, and because I hadn't competed for 9 years and this was the first season coming back, I think that's quite sort of interesting for people to find out why I hadn't competed and sort of how it was coming back after that long. So I suppose there is sort of some interest there, and then like being a single mum and how you do that with bodybuilding and of a certain age going through the menopause and things. So there's quite a lot of people maybe that might be interested in certain things that I have to say. But yeah, no, it was nerve-wracking, but then once I get into it, like I say, I love bodybuilding, so could talk about that forever.
Yeah. Bodybuilding is it's a different realm. You have to understand it. Like the general public, they really, I would say, a mass. Well, I don't know the mass majority, but a lot of people, don't
Don't
understand it.
know.
Mm,
No, I
mm,
think it's a very niche sport, and it's a bit like Marmite. I think you either do love it or you hate it. And I
Yeah.
think it's sort of, as a coach, I think the benefit of people weight training is phenomenal, and I think everyone should go to a gym and weight train for health and longevity. But then taking it that step further and actually being a bodybuilder, I think it's the only sport maybe where it dictates your life, so you live your life around your bodybuilding. So it's not just that couple of hours that you spend in the gym, it's everything else that's around it. And I don't think there's another sport where you need to be that sort of honed in on everything. We've got the diet, the sleep, the nutrition, our mobility, literally everything. Our life is driven for bodybuilding, whether that's you're in prep or whether it's off season. It is a totally year round full-time
Yeah.
activity, so you do have to love it. And like I say, it's really not for everyone. My kids have grown up with me bodybuilding, whether I've been competing or not. I've always lived that life because that's what I love. But they still think I'm crazy because, as a bodybuilder, you take it to the nth degree. You weigh your food. It doesn't, for me, if it's a gram over, whether I'm off season or on season, that doesn't work. I have to have everything on and be, doing it to the nth degree. So yeah, it is very, very niche, but like I say, for me, it's no hardship. I love it. It's just something that really suits me. So if you're that type of person, then it's not hard. And my kids are older, but when they were younger, they sort of always saw me eating out of Tupperware containers like the classic bodybuilder does when you go out. So it's it can be a very selfish sport as well, because it's all about you, isn't it? Especially when you're in prep. Then it totally is. But now I'm in the off season, and I will take them out to restaurants and I'll eat outside of my plan, but it's a planned meal. I know I'm going to do it, so I don't tend to throw caution to the wind or just sort of, I'm traveling this weekend and everything's prepped from, all my meals, all my supplements. I'll be taking everything with me so that I can stay on track then. But yeah, I love it. It suits me. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but the world wouldn't be like it is if we were all doing the same thing.
Yeah. How did you start it, and like what was you doing
It
those
was,
9 years
I
without?
was, I was overweight. I was really overweight as sort of an adolescent, as a teenager. And when I fell pregnant with my first daughter, I was quite young. I was just about to turn 19 when I found out I was pregnant. So I was quite young. And I ate for a football team. So once I had her, I had a lot of weight to lose. And then I started like the classic cardio running. And I wasn't interested in the gym at all. It was only that a new one was opening up, and I was living in France because I lived in France for 18 years. So I just had this leaflet come through, and I was like, oh, I'll go down with a friend and we'll see. Didn't have a clue what anything did, but as soon as I walked in, I was like, I love it. I just felt like at home. A lot of people get anxiety when they go into a gym. I was the total opposite. I didn't know what anything did, but I just loved the feeling that I got when I was in there. But again, initially, I just started using the cardio machines because I didn't know, I just used to go on the treadmill. And then I started just watching people sort of trying out the machines. And then someone came up to me and said about coaching. And it went from there, really. I did for a long while keep running. I did marathons and things whilst I was weight training, but the two don't work together. And I then realized that I had a passion for bodybuilding and I wanted to take it further. So I, obviously stopped the running because you can't build your legs up if you're going to keep sort of running long distances. And it went from there. And that was about 16 years ago. So I competed I did 7 competitions in France over 5 years. And then when I came back to the UK in 2017, I was due to compete, but obviously moving with a young family and being a single mum, it wasn't the right time. And if anyone knows, when you're in a prep, you need to have everything lined up. Otherwise it's hard enough as it is. But when your general life isn't sort of running as it should be, then there's no point in doing a prep. So it just then went, and 9 years later, I sort of lost the confidence of thinking about going on stage. But I always continued bodybuilding. I always trained, always ate like a bodybuilder. And then it was only when I got with Amanda Winston, my current coach, I spoke about competing, and she was like, 100% you need to get back on stage. And it was only with her giving me the confidence, really, and sort of showing me, and the progress that I made with her I started with her in the September, and then my first competition was in the following August. So we had like nearly a year off season. And it was just the progress that I made with her and having her there that I decided, the time was right to sort of go back and see if I enjoyed it. And the last time when I competed in France, I loved the process. I loved the prep. I loved the routine of that. But I didn't actually like that much the getting up on stage. I found it, so I still do if I'm posing really, really hard. But I wasn't at ease getting up on stage this time. And that's why when I went on this time, I was like, I'll just go and see how it is. Absolutely loved it. I'm not a very photogenic person, and I don't sort of like being in front of the camera. But for some reason, when I'm there, I don't even think about that. I don't get nervous. I don't worry about the placing. I just enjoy the time and the moment, because it's not a very long time that you are on the stage, but it's such a weird feeling. It's just, it's not who I am naturally, but this other Laura comes out, and I really enjoy it and I love it. And obviously the people that you meet when you're in that environment, you're all going through the same thing. So it's so many good memories.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, what's it like compete? Do you focus on other competitors? Like
I think you always do, because when you've got your prep head on, you never think you're lean enough, you never think you're ready. You've got this body dysmorphia that when you look at yourself, it's not the reality that you see. So you're always looking at others and thinking, oh my God, she's massive, she's got these legs, look at her. So you do look at others. But then when when I get that moment where it's going on stage, that's where sort of all that goes out the window. And I'm just like, let's just do it, give it 100%. And I just love it. Like the smile that I have on stage, it's nothing forced. I just am having the best time.
Yeah, that's a hell of a routine you're doing. Like you're doing like a little squat, then you raised up.
Yeah, no, I made that one up myself. I was so nervous about the whole posing and the routine, but again, it was something that I really enjoyed in the end. So it was just sort of yeah, it all came together. And like I say, as we planned on doing 2 competitions, and we ended up doing 8. So it was just like one, I loved it. So there was, that was fine. I didn't need to stop. And as we kept getting better and I kept getting more confident, we just kept going. So it was probably a bit too many at the end of the day for my body. By the time I finished the last one, I was like, that's enough. My body needs a rest. And I also knew that I needed size. So my feedback was always, I just need that taper because I've got quite a wide waist. I just need to bring up my back and my legs, which we knew before we'd even started the season. We knew that was what we would need to work on. But we obviously just wanted to get on stage, see if I liked it. And if I was going to compete, then we'd obviously hit the off season, which we're doing now, to bring up those areas that are weak that we know of. So yeah, it was really good. And like I say, I love it. And I love training. And the competing is sort of a byproduct of that. The heart and soul of it for me is training and sort of going to the gym and cracking on in there. And now obviously with sort of it being the off season, we've got a goal to go back on stage. It'll be 2027 now. So, definitely we need a year, I think, to get the muscle tissue that we need. But the conditions there, which was nice to see. Like, I know I can bring condition, which is why I sort of get put into bodybuilding, because I bring that sort of graininess, but I don't have the bubbly muscle density, but I do have that graininess. So we just need to build on that to get the size. And then depending on the federation, it's either sort of WPD or bodybuilding, depending on sort of who else is there. But either one I'm happy with. I think they're both amazing categories, and I just love being on stage with the other athletes. And there's no animosity. Everyone's like in the same boat, and you're all cheering each other on. So regardless of what people might think, there's nothing negative backstage that I've experienced. It's always been so good, and everyone's so lovely. And the coach, everyone, different coaches, you're all sort of cheering each other on and happy for each other. And you've all got to this point, and you've all suffered, where you're suffering that you've imposed on yourself, but you've all suffered for that to get to that level. And again, it's something that a lot of people couldn't do. They wouldn't have the mental resilience to do it. So it's definitely, like you say, there's a small number of people that do that. And when you're there and all in that same boat, it's just, you're just cheering each other and just happy for each other. So regardless of the placing, and like I said, I didn't go expecting anything. I just wanted to go and see if I liked it, and so happy with the placings that I got. It's just now, yeah, I really want to just nail this off season, because I know I've got more to give and I love it. So as long as I'm happy doing it, then we'll just keep going.
Yeah. Do you think it's a lot of pressure for you at times? I
think it's the pressure that I put on myself. There's no expectations. Amanda's absolutely amazing, and it's such a subjective sport that you never know. You don't know what the judges are looking for. If they're looking, like I say, for that graininess, if they're looking for that density or the bubbliness, they might be looking, my upper is quite dominant compared to my lower, but usually, it's the lower that they're looking at. So it's so subjective. You can, as long as, you've done the best that that you can do. But you always, I think if you're that type of person, you are going to put pressure on yourself, and you always want to do better. And if you go from show to show, you expect to be better each show, and sort of make those tweaks that you find out from, whether that's the peak beforehand, whether that's your water loading or water tapering, what you're going to do. So you always want to make those improvements. Even in one season, you want to keep making improvements. So I think you do put pressure on, and it's obviously a positive thing, but if you focus too much on that, then it can become a negative. And that's the hard thing in prep, is trying to find that balance between wanting to do everything but then doing too much, which I experienced. I was I was getting told the steps that I was doing, but I was like, well, I'll just do like 5,000 more steps and then that'll work, and I'll just do this bit more, and I'll just do this. And in the end, I ended up retaining water because I was just doing too much. And it was only when I sort of spoke about it, my legs all started ballooning up and holding water, that Amanda said, right, let's pull back on everything. And within 2 days of pulling back, I'd lost like 4 kilos, and it had all gone back. But in my head, I needed to just keep doing more. So it's one of those things. But I think anyone that does a prep experiences that, it's always, that's why it's so good to have a coach, because if you were doing it yourself, you'd just keep running yourself into, I would imagine you just keep running yourself into the ground. I know that I would. I'd sort of restrict my food even more. I'd, you know, because I went into most shows, because we were ready quite early. My calories weren't low, they were quite high. But in my head, that meant I wasn't suffering enough. So I needed to, you know, I should have been eating less food. So, yeah, luckily, you know, I've got an amazing relationship with Amanda, and we were checking in every day, and she lives near me as well. So I got to see her quite a lot in person. But if I was doing it myself, yeah, I'd be eating next to nothing. I'd be on the Stairmaster and, you know, doing these steps out, walking in the middle of the night. So, you know, luckily I had her to sort of rein me in. And I think female bodies are totally different. We have so many hormonal fluctuations, and you know, we've got jobs. A lot of us, we're not, even if you're pro bodybuilders, there's not many pro bodybuilders that can just live through their bodybuilding. So you've got jobs, you've got obligations, so you have to balance that as well within a prep. So it is not an easy task. But I was just saying to my daughter this morning, like, you know, in prep, you tick all the boxes, you get up at, you know, you don't sleep, so you're up at 3 doing this and this. And then now I think I'm 10, 11 weeks post show, and it's really strange to have that time back and be sleeping a bit more. And, you know, I'm still ticking all the boxes. I'm, you know, my mobility is daily, everything, training is a couple of hours a day. I'm doing all the bits, but it's just so strange that when you're in that prep situation, you know, I was hitting 20,000 steps a day, no problem. And now I'm trying to get under 10. It's going totally the other way, and I'm trying to sort of pull back. So it is a really strange sport, because you're constantly like yo-yoing from one extreme to the other. But like I say, I absolutely love it. I'm just fascinated by sort of what the body can do if you manipulate certain things and how we respond. And for me, it's repaired I had a bad relationship with food for a long while, and it's made me, you know, obviously when you're in prep, that's a totally different situation. But like I say, my food was still quite high. But normally in the off season, it's given me such a good relationship, because I use food for fuel, but I also realize how much I can eat. Whereas I used to be, you know, such a restrictor of food, you know, wouldn't be able to eat a whole bagel or a whole banana. That would be like the worst thing ever. Whereas now, like, I can, you know, eat 2 bagels if I'm told, and it don't question me, because I see what I'm using it for. And that if it's good food, then you're not going to turn into fat. So for me, it's given me that knowledge of what a good healthy relationship is with food. And even when you're in peak season, when you're going through your prep, again, you know what you're doing, and you've chosen to do that, and it's for a short time, but you're always listening to your body. Whereas I think a lot of people don't tend to understand, or they're not in sync with their body. They're just, you know, shoving food in and not thinking about it. Whereas as a bodybuilder, we tend to be really honed in on our digestion, how we feel when we're doing this, what's this done to us, you know. And so I think it is, for me, it's been a really good journey to repair my relationship with food and going forward. And my children now, they, you know, we all sort of meal prep to a degree, because they're all doing sports in different degrees, but it's taught them as well, like, how to eat properly. And I'm not saying 100%, you know, because we do go out, and, you know, they're young, they'll go out and have a McDonald's or something, which they should do. But again, they'll know if they've done that a bit too much, they'll be like, oh, my skin doesn't feel great, I don't feel great, and they'll know why. Whereas I think a lot of people now, they'll just get into that thing of, you know, every day on the way to work, going and get this, or on the way home, and not thinking about it. So the sort of the spin-off that you get from bodybuilding, for me, it goes into your everyday life. And like I say, my kids now know how to eat and what food would do for them and fueling their training. So yeah, I'm really grateful that I found it and got into it.
Yeah. Are you like a transformation coach? I think I've seen like
yeah, so I've got a couple of businesses, but then I did my PT qualification first in France, and then I redid it 2 years ago in the UK. So now I've got I was PTing at a gym, but because I'm in the middle of moving, I'm just doing online clients at the moment. But it's, yeah, transformations and mainly for me, the thing is like I said, I'm a single mum. I'm a nan. I've had multiple jobs. At one time, I was like running from 8 jobs, between 8 jobs. And people say they haven't got time to do something, but I know that you can work that time in.
You
It's
got
just
8 jobs? You had 8 jobs?
yeah, I did for many years. I had 8 jobs. It was
Like when you say 8 jobs, like what? Like you had one job there, and
yes, I
but
was doing
you
a lot
left
of
that job?
yeah, so I was doing a couple of cleaning jobs, a couple of waitressing jobs, and I was doing
Oh,
some care in the community. So I was doing like night stays.
oh,
Then I've always had my business, which is French accounts and translation, PT in. So yeah, it was like literally ping ponging just to, you know, just to do what I needed to do really for the kids and for us to, you know, 3 children, you need 3 salaries at least.
yeah.
But so for me then for PTing, one, I want to tell people how important it is that they lift weights no matter, you know, what age. For me, the younger you start, especially with kids nowadays that are on their phone, they're always hunched over, to there's no age, so you're never too old to start either. But also for those people out there, those parents that think they can't find the time, you know, there's always ways to be able to fit in time. And like I said, I do it to the extreme. I train a couple of hours when I do train 5 times a week, but not everyone needs to do that. You know, you can get in and have a really decent session in 20-30 minutes, as long as you're dedicating that time to it, and you can even do it at home. So the online coaching is really to tailor to everyone's lifestyle, what their goals, and that I'm there to support them. So, you know, WhatsApp's great now. I can check in with them daily and just see if they're having a bit of a crappy day. I can make sure that I'm there saying, okay, well, let's jig it around, let's do this. Or if they're at work and they realize they're going to be late, rather than, you know, thinking, right, the whole week's done now, I'm not going to do anything, I'm there to be able to say, okay, we haven't done it today, but we can fit it in here, or, you know, reduce your steps and we'll do this instead. So that's what fueled coaching is for. It's just to make sure that everyone gets what they need to, and sees the benefits. And I think initially, if you've not been in a gym, your body screams at you to stop because it's something totally different. You'll find you're aching everywhere. You're not used to how that feels. But then if you get past that, and it's only a couple of weeks it takes, then the amount of people that are like, oh my God, you know, that feels so good. I can lift that weight now, whereas I couldn't lift anything. And I can, you know, my shopping, I can get up or run around with the grandkids, things like that. So the benefits that everyone see, I don't think there's anyone that said to me, feel worse. You know, it's amazing. And like I say, for women hitting the menopause, it's so important. And even if you're doing cardio is great. Cardiovascular activity should be featured in your routine as well, but lifting weights is what's going to make you grow older in a much better way, without, you know, sort of back pains and back issues, and losing that muscle mass and that bone density. And so people don't want to look like me, you know, and a lot of people come up to me, they're like, I don't want to look like you. I'm like, don't worry, you won't look like me, but it will preserve that muscle mass, because otherwise, if you don't preserve it, you're going to lose it, and that's where the issues come. So yeah, so it's really nice, and I love being able to help people, and how it then like impacts their mood as well, because it's a lot of mental. The benefits you get as well aren't just the physical benefits; it is the mental benefits that you find as well, which is lovely.
Yeah. Is it always a bad thing when people say they don't want to look like you? I don't know. Like,
I
you find that
understand.
like
I understand
realistic or?
as a female that it's, you know, it's not the norm to look the way that I look, but for me, it's my norm. You know, to me, I look small. I want to be bigger, you know, but other people, it's just weird that people find everyone has an opinion on us female bodybuilders. But I wouldn't have an opinion. You know, it's not as if I go up to someone that I think's maybe overweight and think, oh, you know, you should do something there. It's just people tend to think that they've got that, they can have that opinion with us.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it'd be like that. you know, like even like if you admire them, you know, people look at you kind of strange. You know, I've heard, you know, from a friend that, you know, they like people question him about his sexuality. Yeah, so
Yeah, I've had people say to me as well before, like, you're not a woman, what are you? But
yeah,
you know, it's, I just take it with a pinch of salt. So it doesn't bother me or make me upset. You know, I'm happy now with who I am, and I don't feel like I have to, you know, hide. Well, you can't really hide it when you're sort of walking around, but I love this life, and like I said, I'm not gonna change it for anyone now, and it's me. And I think my, you know, a lot of my family don't agree with it and don't like it. I'm lucky that my kids, you know, I think they probably see me as normal now. This is me. I've been, you know, like that for years. So um, they don't see anything. They quite like it, you know, when their friends say, "Was that your mum?" But a lot of other people, yeah, find it strange. But like I said, in the gym that I work in, everyone's amazing, and even the women are like, even though they know that they personally wouldn't want to look like me, they appreciate the hard work that it takes to get there. And you know, they see me training and think, oh, you know, like how they couldn't do that. Because a lot of people, you know, when they train, that uncomfortableness is where they stop, but that's where you need to then keep going to build. So it's it's hopefully a lot of people, I think, take positives from it, but you're always going to have those people that just think we're freaks, and they'll quite happily come up and tell you that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it be like that, you know. I really don't got, I really don't got no answer for it because you know I've been going through that a lot. You know, I'm not gonna lie. There times, you know, I have mixed feelings about female bodybuilders a bit. You know, because sometimes it's not so much of the appearance, it's the personality. You know, yeah, because
Yeah, no, it's, we've just got to be like, if we're comfortable within ourselves, and everyone, you know, everyone's got to live their life how they want to. And I've definitely found out through doing this last prep that I found myself, and like, I'll be 47 soon. My children are sort of grown up and doing their thing. And I was at a bit of a loss. I was like, well, I'm always going to be a mum, but I'm not needed as I was. And I've got two young grandchildren that I dote on, but I still needed to find something for me. And like I said, I've always trained, but not to the extent of sort of doing a prep again. And when I started it, I just found myself, and that was when I was at my happiest. So for me, doing like living 100% this life as a bodybuilder and being happy and open with that, that's making me happy, rather than thinking, oh, I can't really do that, I can't really say that, or I shouldn't really do that because of some, you know, someone else's opinion. Whereas now I sort of don't give a monkeys, and I think that that's me, and people can take it or leave it. You know, we're not doing any harm to anyone, we're just doing our thing, and if that affects someone else or they don't like it, then that's their issue, it's not mine.
yeah. Let me read this. I got a friend here, Oliver George Page. It's
Oh,
biology that truly separates men from women in bodybuilding. And he says society always have their standards of what is beauty. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, you know, I think you're a very attractive woman. Yeah, you have a nice physique. I know you probably get that a lot at times. I know probably guys DM you and stuff and say some crazy things and all that type of stuff.
No, I don't get too many, and I don't know. It's weird as well when you're a bodybuilder. To me, when you look at a physique, you don't tend to look at it as like attractive or that. You tend to look at the muscle structure. It's really
Yeah,
weird. Or like, oh, you know, I'd love their delts, or I'd love, you know, a back like that, or their glutes. It's just, you just look at, you know, the body differently. So yeah, of course you get some sort of strange comments and things, but like I was saying when I was on George's podcast, it is just you know, it's one of those things, it's part and parcel of it. And I just appreciate all the, you know, all the comments and the positiveness that I get, and it is predominantly people being positive and really appreciative of the hard work that it takes. And then, you know, like I say, it's my choice to want to build this amount of muscle and then keep going and building more. The same for other sort of WPD athletes or women's bodybuilding, and we are in a minority. There's not many of us, but that's something that suits us, and then we'll just, you know, we'll keep going. It's like other people that decide that they want to.
Can I ask you something? What's
Yeah.
your limit? Because, you know, I know like there's bodybuilders I've heard that, you know, they can't really do much with at a certain point with all that muscle.
Yeah, no, that's why I do mobility. So I'm really focused on like doing daily mobility, because I found that you know, I used to be able to do things like the splits, and I used to, you know, I used to be a marathon runner. So
Yeah.
run long distances. Obviously the weight now is totally different. So, you know, running, I can't do, I wouldn't even attempt to do it, but I'm really working hard on my mobility because I've got young grandchildren as well. And, you know, my other kids, when they have children, I want to be a nan that can run around with them, and, you know, crawl around on the floor with them and go to soft play and things, which I do. I just need to make sure that I can. So as long as I'm healthy and like in mobility wise, you know, I don't ever want to have to ask my kids to tie my shoelaces or something like that. If I ever got to a point like that, I'd be like, right, Laura, that's ridiculous, you know. So it's a case of just making sure that I keep on top of my mobility, like which I do now. So yeah, and swimming and things like that. So just making sure that I do the, you know, as well as bodybuilding, I do the stuff on the other side to make sure that it's like the yin and yang, and I'm compensating.
Yeah. With so you was in France, like you spoke the language?
Yes, that's my my business is French translations
Okay.
and
Okay.
admin. So all admin for people living in France, and court translations and things, legal translations. So we were out there for 18 years.
Say that again. 18 years?
Yeah, 18 years
Okay.
we
Wow.
lived out there.
How is it in France like for you?
It was great. It was great for the kids. It was I had a gym out there, so I part-owned a gym. That's where I sort of got into bodybuilding. I also had like a bookshop and things, so I did loads out there. Worked for an accountancy firm, did loads of jobs, and we lived in a little village where all the villagers used to you know, get together and do all the cooking together and things. So it was a great life. And then we moved to the beach, so the kids had a really good life and upbringing. But it was just when they grew older, we needed to move back for them, one going into the Navy, the military, and another one wanted to go to uni. So it was, they had to be UK resident for that to happen. So we came back, but it was a great life for them growing up, totally different to what it was like in the UK. They used to have like 3 or 4 course meals at school, the children, and naps and things. So it was a really good life. And bodybuilding out there, what in France, they're sort of, people say they're 15-20 years behind what they are in the UK. So it was like, we just did, our bodybuilding gym was a bodybuilding gym, whereas a lot of them were more of like the pure gym type of things, you know, just for fitness. So it was one of the first sort of martial arts and bodybuilding gyms. So it was really good, really good. So it was a great time and great place for the kids to grow up. And I've got some really happy memories from being there.
Yeah, I know your son, he's a bodybuilder. He's starting out bodybuilding. Like he box also.
Yeah, he boxes, and he's just done, last weekend he was in Italy, did his first high rocks. So he went to Italy and competed in his first high rocks. But yeah, they all
What you mean high rocks? Like
high rocks. Do you have it in the States? It's where you do like a strength activity with then a kilometer run. So they'll do things like wall balls, then they'll do a kilometer run, then they'll do like a sled pull, kilometer run. They'll do burpees, a kilometer run. So it's like a timed competition. It's who does it the quickest.
Okay.
So he went to Italy to do that. It's really big over here, high rocks. And like I say, that was Italy. So it's quite big in Europe. and he boxes. But yeah, he goes to the gym most nights after work. He's a chef, so he goes when he finishes his shift in the evening. And my daughter's in the Navy, so she's more of a CrossFitter. She does a lot of CrossFit training. And my eldest daughter is a Zumba teacher in a gym. So she uses the gym. So they all are into gym and their sports, like I say, which is and bodybuilding, like being in the gym and doing the weightlifting part is all part of that. My daughter that's just had her second baby, because she trained throughout her pregnancy, the second time round, she had such a better birth and recovery than with her first daughter, because she didn't train when she had her first daughter, but throughout her pregnancy with Mabel, she trained. And yeah, even at the hospital they said how much they noticed how different like it was for her. So there's so many positives to making sure that you get in the gym a couple of times a week at least, and just get lifting some weights. You say whether you're pregnant, a new mum, in the menopause, a teenager, doing all these other sports, the foundation is weightlifting. So yeah, everyone needs to get to their local gym.
Yeah. I would say that's important to work out, because when you get a certain age, you can't do things, and then you have to depend on people to help you and stuff. I have family members that's going through that now, so I'm seeing that. You want to, but I know it's more also a mind thing too. Because some people, they have dementia or other things, and
yeah, but even for things like that, for sort of Alzheimer's and dementia, it's so beneficial because of the sort of the activation, and you've got that mind muscle connection and gripping and things. It will work, whatever, for me, whatever ailment you've got, it will help. And even if you're at that stage where unfortunately you've got a degenerative disease, if you're able to get into a gym, then it's still really beneficial. I used to work at another place, at a leisure center, and we had quite a few people come in, and we used to dedicate a special time to them, so that it was they didn't feel they didn't feel uncomfortable. But just having them come in, and obviously if you've got someone there that can then help them and guide them, the benefits that they got afterwards. And like I say, it doesn't have to be a long session. You go in there for 15-20 minutes, that can be enough, but it can just help then neurologically get that the brain cells firing and working. So as well as having that fitness aspect physically, it will also mentally be really helpful, and can help then just make the illness not as aggressive.
Like, I got some comments. Doing a project for college, how would you describe how bodybuilding has changed over time?
I think now it's a lot, unfortunately, there's a lot of social media that's involved. So whereas before you'd used to go to your bodybuilding show and just compete, and it would be how you looked on the day, now unfortunately in some cases a lot of it is how many followers you've got, how your profile is, how you've been promoting the competition that you're on, and things like that. So it's not just solely about that physique and how you've done or how much muscle mass you've got. It can sometimes be a popularity contest, which is unfortunate, because not all of us are feel the same way about social media. I struggle with it a lot, and I know we have to do it, but it's the one downside that I see. I think it's always been subjective, and it is because it's a judge's opinion and what they like. That's not an issue, but it's definitely there's the social media side. I know that some federations are trying to sort of bring it back to how it used to be, and they're looking at making it more equal in terms of obviously females, there's a lot less prize money and prizes for females, and there's a lot less categories, there's a lot less competitions available for WPDs and female bodybuilders, even figure to go to. So hopefully that's changing as well. But yeah, I think now it's a lot more about social media, and sometimes it's more about the business aspect, which, you know, it has to be because they've got to make money to keep doing these shows. But sometimes then that takes away from the essence of what it is, a bodybuilding show. You know, it's what the athlete's done, and when they get up on stage, what they're presenting at that moment in time, not, you know, how they've sort of portrayed themselves throughout their prep.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you heard like, are you aware that IFBB Pro, like IFBB, you know, they cut some shows in
yeah.
Vancouver, Chicago. Like, how do you look at that for like women bodybuilders, like in the division? Like, do you see that existing about maybe 5 years or 10 years?
No, I think now it's because I think, one, because there's a lot less of us. They want to condense the shows so that they get more competitors at those shows. But yeah, I also think, again, like, it is it's always about money. So it's unfortunate that it comes down to that, but it does, and it's always the same categories that are going to suffer, that are going to be pulled first. So it's always going to be a case of you know, WPD bodybuilding that's not going to really get a look in if they need to cut costs somewhere.
My phone it's acting up and stuff. God damn, come on, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Forgive me. It just yeah. Let me hold on. That distracted me the whole thing. What do you feel you need to help in your process as a bodybuilder?
I think I need, obviously, like, we know that I need size, so that's what we're going for at the moment. But I think I'm very hard on myself, which is good because it pushes me forward. But like I was saying to Amanda this week, I'm having a bit of a wobbly week because I'm doubting myself, and I think sort of my strength should be, you know, I'm 11 weeks post show, but I think my strength should be up here. I think I train, you know, I do train well and I train hard, but in my head, we have to fill out like sheets and we have to rate how our training's gone, and like 7's the best. And she always says to me, Laura, you never give yourself a 7. And when we train together, she's like, that session was a 7, but I can't put a 7 because I always think I should be doing better. So I think I need to sort of learn to take a step back. I never take time off training. I take my rest days, but they're always active rest. But I haven't actually taken any time off training for years. I trained this year, I trained Christmas Day, I trained Boxing Day. My routine stayed exactly the same. I didn't take any time off. So I think I need to learn to maybe take a step back. It's very hard for me to think. I know you need to take sometimes step back to go forward, but that's difficult for me to sort of process in my head to do. But I think I need to in order to grow. And for a woman, it takes a lot. It takes a long time for anyone to build muscle if they want to build solid muscle that's going to stay there. So you can't just give yourself a couple of months and think, right, that's it, then I'll go into a prep. That's one. And I need to give myself a year, which means in that year, I'm going to need to get uncomfortable because I'm going to need to get used to putting on size on my frame. And I'm only short. I'm only just, you know, I'm only 5 foot. So already, you know, 11 weeks post show, I'm seeing, you know, my face is filling out, which I know I should be, but it's not easy. But I want to get to a place where I'm on stage and I am competitive, which means bringing out my legs. Obviously, my back needs to be wider, more denser, thicker. Glutes need to come up. I want to round the glutes. So there's a lot I need to be working on.
Yeah. I can't even really tell. Like, I mean, like, how can you tell? Like, cause I mean, I don't see, you know, I don't see anything wrong with you. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah.
I just need some more size on my frame. I just want my back, my lats to come out more.
Yeah.
My shoulders aren't too bad, but my rear delts I think need to come up, and I need to get a bit more of a delt cap. So I always see the bits. I always see the bits. You know, my glutes need to have that bit more like rounder and bubblier. Obviously, my quad sweep is a huge thing, and the hang on my hammies. So there's lots, which is good because it means there's a lots of scope for me to progress. And when I step back on stage, I want people to think, wow, you know, she's really gone and pushed the boat out and done everything she could. So I just don't want to be people to think that I'm lazy or haven't given it 100%. But sometimes I think that's me, like you said earlier, it's putting pressure on I'm always putting pressure on myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like with your coach, I mean, like do she like watch videos with you posing or anything like that?
Yeah, she's amazing. And like I say, because we're at the minute, I'm about to move, so I'm about to move 5 hours from her. But at the minute, we're like 10 minutes away from each other. So she's amazing. She'll always come in and do some posing with me, and then I send her posing videos. It is getting better, my posing. I'm getting more confident. So obviously that's the thing as well. In the off season, I need to make sure that I keep practicing, which I am. And then we'll just tweak it as and when we need to next time. And obviously the different federations, they have slightly different ways of posing. But I'm a lot happier in the posing than I used to be. And she's amazing. She's such a good posing coach as well. So I'm really, really lucky. And even when I move, you know, we'll see each other regularly. I think it's really important to have that face to face. So whether she'll come down to the Midlands or she'll come up to the Midlands or I'll come back down to Plymouth. It's 4 or 5 hours drive. It's an easy drive. So I don't mind doing that. That's the luxury of sort of being self-employed, is that I can then do that whenever I want.
She's from the States, right? She moved to the UK.
No, she's from the UK. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Her last competition was in the States, but yeah, she lives here in Plymouth in the UK.
How long she been competing?
Oh, years. She competed I think last year was her last show. She says she's retired, but she's not. I think she'll come out of retirement. But she's got just an incredible physique. She's absolutely phenomenal. But I'm not sure. I think it's well over 10 years.
No. And she is she the one that like convinced you like to start competing?
Yeah, 100%. When I moved, so I had another coach who was amazing as well. And when I moved to Plymouth, I wanted to see Amanda because she was so good at posing, and she was a posing coach as well as an online coach. So I saw her in the gym that I was training at, and after I spoke to her, I was like, there's no question. I want her to coach me as well because she's so knowledgeable on sort of female hormones. She's here, and just everything she said, I just aligned with. So I went like over to her, and since then, like I say, my confidence has just grown so much, and I've learned so much about myself, not just as a bodybuilder, but as like Laura. And she's just, so knowledgeable in terms of the hormones and post-show, and I'm perimenopausal, so sort of trying to navigate that as well when you're obviously in prep and you don't know if it is your hormones that are actually out or if it's the prep and things. So she's absolutely incredible, and she's got some amazing athletes, and she's got a lot of pro cards, IFBB Pro, and then hopefully this year there'll be more, and then hopefully I'll get mine next year.
Would you say she's like a role model for you, like, and she inspired you?
Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah, she inspires me every day. She's absolutely barking mad, crazy, but in the best possible way. And she's an absolute inspiration. She's a fantastic bodybuilder, and she looks phenomenal. Yeah, she's
I've seen her pictures. Yeah. She looked like she almost looked like, I don't know, Fergie a little bit from
I can see that. Yeah. She's doing a posing seminar this weekend, so we're off to the Midlands to Derby because there's a seminar, and she's doing a free posing seminar. And but even men, she even like she's so good with men's posing as well. She's just got the eye. And I was just in awe of her when we did compete. She'd often have like 6 or 7 athletes. We'd all be in the same Airbnb or hotel, but she just looked at us and she knew what we all needed as individuals.
Yeah.
And you know, I just, it's unbelievable how she can just look at you and think, okay, you need that, or you need some more food. You don't need any food. You need to go and do this. And every one of us was different, and she's just on it and just knows. And that's just from, well, one, she's got the eye, which I think you have to have, but she's also built up that experience and just knows now. So yeah, she's phenomenal. So I'm so excited to be sort of doing another season with her. I don't think she'll ever get rid. She won't get rid of me now.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Does she have like a team of other clients? I think I've seen a picture of you and other women.
Yeah, so when we did quite this last season, there was I think the most, she had about 6 of us in the same competition. So we all stayed together in the same Airbnb. But then she had like another 2 at a different competition. So her season this year was absolutely crazy. She had sort of some people competing internationally in the States. She went to the States to support some of her athletes. She went to Milan, Italy with me. So she literally just goes around with her athletes, which is so important as well, because you can do it, you know, over the phone. And sometimes she had to, because she couldn't be in 2 places at once. But she will always try to get to as many competitions. Her sort of, once the season starts, she's just fully booked every weekend, sort of traveling here, there, and everywhere to support. And she loves it. She's great, and she gets, you know, the feedback that she gets. She knows a lot of the judges and that, and there's nothing better than sort of being at the competitions. I think if you sort of hesitate and think, no, you've done your job and you don't go, you've missed out on a massive part. So no, she's absolutely amazing. Yeah, best coach ever.
What about you? Like do you just compete like in Europe, or would you want to go travel to the States? Or
yeah, we were talking about that with Amanda when we sort of look at 2027. So we'll see what the calendar is, but she did say that a couple in America. So I'll just be guided by her, whatever she thinks is the best. One, because she tends to know the judges, and she also knows the sort of competitors that will be there. Because if it's, you know, once I want to be on a stage with other competitors, I don't want to end up, you know, turning up and there's just me or something. So whatever she thinks is the best competition, because she's got more experience, then we'll go for that. So she's sort of, we've spoken about a few this year, but for next year. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, if I could get across to the States, that would be amazing.
yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah. What show what show would you want to do again?
I can't remember which one she said in the States. I know she spoke about Romania for next year, but I can't remember. She did say there was one in the States, but I have to double check with her. I can't remember. But we're thinking probably of the back end again of 2027, or we'll do an early show in 27 and then wait and then go back in. So it depends how it lines up and how much muscle I can put on this year, what we do. But like I said, I'll just be guided by her, whatever she thinks. I trust her decision.
Are you moving would you move to women bodybuilding, or you just stay in the women's physique?
It depends totally on what I'll fit best into. Like I say, I love both categories, women's physique or bodybuilding. I'm probably more comfortable with, I mean, having the no heels is amazing. I'm probably more comfortable with the bodybuilding poses, just those closed fists I quite like. But again, it just depends if I can get the size that I think I need for bodybuilding. Because, you know, if I'm really hoping if I do get my pro card, I don't want to then think, okay, but I've got so much work to do to be a pro. I'd like to do the work now and then get a pro card if I'm lucky enough to then be able to go into a pro show and be competitive. So it's just making sure that this year I do everything that I can to get the size that I need, and then you know, prep, we know I love prep. I can do prep, and we can bring the condition. It's just maintaining, getting that size so that I get that taper in. Like I said, I've got a wide waist, so I need to bring out my back and my legs to make that waist that nice shape. But we're working on it. We're working on it.
Okay, yeah, best of luck. From Pressure Diamonds Are Made, you are a
Oh,
diamond.
thanks, George.
Yeah. Then he says amateur Olympia or Miss International or worldwide shows in the States.
Yeah, and I think George said about amateur Olympia, and Amanda had a competitor, an athlete that did amateur Olympia, and said it was amazing. So yeah, so anything like that, like I said, whatever she thinks that I'd suit and fits in that timeline, then I'm willing. So that I've got save up the money this year, because it's not a cheap sport, is it? So that next year we can get on it and go and enjoy it. And like I said, I just love it, so I'm excited already.
Yeah, that's a lot. With the expenses and traveling and all that other things. Yeah. Is it
Yeah.
always tough for you, or it's not too bad?
No, it is an expensive sport, but then I think any sport that you do, like I always think, if you do golf, you've got the golf clubs and you want to get the best golf clubs and the golf shoes and things. Football's the same. Any sport that you do nowadays is expensive, but because ours is all year round, all your supplements and everything that you need, it is an all year round sport. And then you've got your you have to pay for the federations, you have to pay for them, obviously, like you say, your flights if it's international. So there is a cost and you've got a budget, but I tend to make a budget for that. And then, hopefully it falls within that budget. But I think next time, if I do this time, I always got someone to do my makeup and hair. But I'll practice this year and I'll maybe do my own hair and makeup and save money like that. So there are ways to save money, and there's things that you can't save money on. So yeah, it'll be possible. I'll make it possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the best of luck to you. Yeah, like I think that's about it. I don't want to take you hostage. Anything. But yeah. I mean, like I got one more question. Like, do you see as bodybuilding as a sport, a hobby, or like how do you see bodybuilding lifestyle?
Yeah, for me, it's my life. It's a definite lifestyle for me. It's much more than a hobby. Probably a bit of an obsession. But it's an obsession that I love, and I'm happy with that. And I just want to see where I can take it. And like I said, I got the pro card this year with FitX, and I got third was my lowest placing. So first, second, or third, I got in everything else. So I just now want to take it that next step and see what I can get. And if I can get that IFBB pro card and then, compete as a pro, that would be amazing. So it's definitely more than a hobby. And for me, it is my life, and that's the lifestyle that I live by. I live by a bodybuilding lifestyle. So yeah, but like I say, I'm happy with that.
You ever like probably like in the future, like you ever thought like having like a social life or meeting somebody or
I'd love to. If I did meet someone, I'd love to, but I think we'd have to have the same passions. So we'd have to, my idea of going out is going to a new gym somewhere and seeing what equipment they've got. And, now I'm in the off season, it's going out and getting a nice meal. But I don't tend to go out, but that's just me. I think even if I didn't have bodybuilding, I'm not like a go out. If I go out with my kids, or I'll take them out, or my grandchildren. But that's just not me. So I do a nice day out for me is going to a new gym somewhere, maybe getting some food or a nice coffee, going for a walk. And so I'm quite boring really, but that's what I like.
Yeah, I'm boring too. But yeah, I mean, best of luck to you. I mean, I wish you the best on your bodybuilding journey.
Thank you for having me on. It's been amazing to chat to you.
Yeah, I appreciated it. Thank you.
Well, have a lovely afternoon.
You too as well.
And have a great evening. See you later.
See you later.
Thank you. Bye.